Nuclear plant is a blocked out tileset concept for due process. I was inspired to make a portfolio project based on due process because I really enjoyed the tactical gameplay, the dystopian cyberpunk pixel art and soundtrack, and procedural level generation, which leads to unique experiences and decision making. My goals for this project were to create a blockout in Unity using ProBuilder and custom prefabs, script simple mechanics in C#, practice multiplayer level design with a focus on balance and flow, and create modular elements that could work with procedural generation. I created a layout based on procedural generation used in the game, which results in a Tetris-style arrangement of rooms. Then, in a similar way to designers curating levels for fun gameplay, I added the bomb, props, and doors to the layout. Since the tileset is based on a nuclear power plant, props consist of curved computer desks you might find in a control room or large cylinders that resemble steam turbines. There is also a large dome over reactor. For a little extra flavor, transformers, power lines, and cooling towers make up the midground and nearby scenery. I based the tileset on a 3x3 grid with a max size for a room being 9x9. With 6 rooms in this blockout, the total grid area is roughly the same as levels in the game. There's a free entry, 2 fire doors, and 1 shutter that can be breached by attackers, which also follows the game in number of entry points. This creates a map flow that feels like an actual due process map. Now I'll break down a plan that takes attackers through free entry and control to the bomb and reactor, via a path through shop and pool. During the planning phase, the attackers have probably drawn out their path on the map and indicated where they might use their utility. Flashbangs to push rooms, maybe a frag to destroy barbed wire, and a smoke to block strong defender sightlines would be a good idea. Attackers go up the stairs outside control and can enter a vent by kicking the wall vent. Then they move into position around the floor vent, which must be shot open from above. They can use this opening to get information about control and use utility before entering. Attackers can benefit by splitting up and pushing both vents. Utility can have a greater impact when both vents are used, and it will be easier to face any defenders inside control. A defender or two may be in position in control, and there are a number of places they could be. They could play under the vents, trying to surprise an attacker when it opens, but this is a risky position. They could be behind the shelf, looking at both vents and crouching if they need cover. From here, they can throw a Molotov under the vents to slow down an attacker push. They could play on the green door from shop, looking at one of the vents. There could be a defender in the back of control with line of sight to both vents. They can use a Molotov on the closer vent to counter a push or a flashbang. They could also play in the back corner of control, waiting with a close range weapon. Then attackers move into shop. Defenders could have placed a barbed wire to help hold the door, but a frag grenade can be used to destroy the wire. Attackers can follow up with a flashbang, which should disorient any nearby defenders. With another good flashbang, the back of shop can be cleared of threats. If defenders can't hold the door, they can fall back to new positions, such as the subroom mech shop, where a defender can force close combat or flank from if attackers don't clear the subroom. There's also the nook and the large pipe prop. A defender can hold an angle from the forklift, play on the door to pool, or the doors to hall. Attackers can breach into shop via a door charge on the fire door. This would take them on a shorter route to bomb that doesn't require dealing with control. Or they can breach here along with control and might catch a defender off guard behind the fire door. As attackers push in, it can be smart to clear the subroom first. Then flashbang to push the rest of shop. Attackers can breach into shop via a wall charge on the shutter. From here, they may use a flashbang, then a smoke to obscure most of shop and push rather quickly into pool. Since there are a lot of angles in shop for attackers to deal with, I arranged props to form a loop. This benefits attackers since the defenders are forced to watch two positions rather than easily focusing on one. Moving into pool, attackers might want to pre-fire through the door at a possible defender, then kick the door and follow up with a flashbang, although they may want to save the flashbang for the rest of the room. After clearing out pool of defenders, attackers can activate the switch to open the vault door to Reactor. This could be a good place to use utility to get into Reactor, such as a flashbang or smoke. The smoke can block line of sight for any defender in the back of Reactor. Then attackers can move towards bomb to start defusing it. Defenders can try to hold the door from shop into pool. They could hide in the container, be crouching in the pool, or be in the back of the pool where attackers might miss them. A defender could also play on bomb, watching the long angle into pool once the vault door is open. Now, let's back up to attackers in shop. Instead of going to pool, let's say they want to push hall to Reactor instead. An attacker can kick the door to hall and push with a few flashbangs. Once they reach the switch to open the vault door, they can backtrack to some crates for cover, then use utility to push into Reactor. Defenders may have a barb at the choke point in Reactor, which can be destroyed with a frag grenade. If the attackers have any more flashbangs, they can use one to push directly onto bomb. A defender in hall could use a barbed wire and Molotov to counter attackers pushing from shop. They could also hold an angle for behind some crates near the switch, or hold the switch by hiding behind the crates. They can hold an angle from the Reactor subroom, or force a close quarters engagement if pushed. They can play behind pipes next to the vault door. They can hold a long angle from the back of Reactor, or play on bomb where they can set up a barbed wire and use a Molotov to slow down attackers or counter utility. What if attackers take a different route from control? Going back to the beginning of their plan, attackers could push through Turbine and hall to Reactor. They can flashbang the back of control and move to the door. As they push into Turbine, they could use a flashbang on a defender near the generator, then throw a flashbang into the back of Turbine, then attackers can push into hall. They could shoot through the door using wall penetration to hit a defender or force them away from the door. If there is a barb used here, it can be cleared with a frag. Before opening the vault door, it might be a good idea to clear out hall of any defenders. Defenders can play around the generator near the door to control, or hold angles from behind props in the back of the room. Attackers can use a door charge to breach into Turbine. Similar to breaching shop, this shortens the path to bomb at the cost of a door charge. They can then push into Turbine with a couple of flashbangs. A defender can use a Molotov to slow down attackers breaching into Turbine. Attackers could use a blowtorch to enter the trench between Turbine and Reactor, which would bypass hall. The trench is designed so that weapons cannot penetrate it, but flashbang effects can. So an attacker may want to throw a flash before exiting the trench in Reactor. This does reward attackers with a shortcut to bomb. However, they do need to use the blowtorch, and their mobility is limited within the trench, increasing the risk of this strategy. Other layouts produced by procedural generation would consist of a different arrangement of rooms, props, and bomb placement, but would still share the same identity and aesthetics. That ends this breakdown of nuclear plant and possible strategies attackers and defenders can use on this layout. For more information on this project, you can take a look at my portfolio site linked in the description. Thank you for watching.